This is No Face Movement, and it's August the 27th, 2017. Tonight, we're going to do a few videos, and we're going to talk about Harvey. We're going to show you the weather pattern, a tropical storm, 10 on the East Coast, and a potential another tropical storm and hurricane down around the tips. We're going to get to that later. Alright, we're going to just get to that later. We're going to do a few videos. It's all about Harvey, what's happening, what's going on, all that. But we're going to start with August the 21st, 2017. We had a total solar eclipse from coast to coast, from the west coast to the east coast. Now, whatever country, whatever continent, you can see in my other videos, we did put warnings and watches out for hurricanes in the Gulf and on the East Coast 2 weeks ago in my other video, as we were looking at heart rings as chemtrails. So go check that out. But we're going to talk about the eclipse true meaning. Alright, and this is just the beginning. Alright, it just happened on August 21st. It went from coast to coast. If you live in any country, continent that you see total solar eclipse in every single religion and belief, it's a bad omen. It means death, destruction, war, weather, famine, but at the end it means rebirth. Okay, so we seen that total solar eclipse on August the 21st, went from coast to coast. Alright, on Friday, alright, just 4 days later, on August the 25th and 24th, nighttime, we seen Harvey start making landfall. And the city that made complete destruction was Rockport, Texas. It made landfall in Rockport, Texas. So all the people that did hanker down, that stayed, that whole city's devastated. They ain't got sewer, electricity. They ain't got none of that stuff. And that's going to take months just to repair. All right. So people ain't going to be able to go back to Rockport, Texas, months, maybe years. All right, folks. It's devastation. It's like apocalyptic scenery down there. Second, it's the rain in Houston. Now, Houston gets a lot of floods. Don't get me wrong. So the reason the government did not evacuate 6.5 million people was the same reason for Hurricane Katrina. During Hurricane Katrina, and I survived it, it happened around this time, but on August the 30th, 2005, Hurricane Katrina was supposed to make landfall in Texas. We only had a 6-hour warning before it made landfall in New Orleans. And I was in the north, in the tip of New Orleans. And it was devastating up there. There was flood all downtown, on the east, on the west, through the river. It was crazy, all right? But the government put in a mandatory evacuation, all right? When the government put in a mandatory evacuation, we're talking about 1.5 million people trying to escape from New Orleans. The traffic jam was so bad, people were stranded when the hurricane hit. All right, so the reason, supposedly, the government down in Texas didn't, well, the governor or the mayor didn't evacuate Houston was it's 6.5 million people trying to escape Houston. It'd be catastrophic. When a storm hit, people be trying to escape, so they told them to hunker down, and it was just water. You know, they got some wind, it was like a tropical storm, but it was all about that water. You see, it ain't bad, you know, it wasn't like crazy bad, but where Houston is, a lot of the water goes through the dams, go through Buffalo Bayou, and goes straight to the ocean. People don't realize that. All right, so there's a catastrophic flood as we speak right now in Houston, and it's getting worse, and it ain't. The rivers and the bayous ain't going to increase till Wednesday or Thursday. That means that the water is going to go higher. And we got another video about the dams. Because the dams down there, the 2 dams that they opened, the spillway, might be a cover-up. They might open it up because of cracked and fractured. But that's a whole nother video, and we're going to get into that later. All right. So Houston's underwater. Houston gets floods. Houston had a major flood in 2015. Houston had a major flood from Tropical Storm Allison in 2001. The difference between this is people stayed, and the first day ain't bad. You got food. You see the water rising. All right, I'm going to start moving out. All right. The second day, you see all the people yesterday on Sunday going out there with their own boats, all that stuff. The city wasn't prepared for this like they were supposed to be. But evacuating people that were hurt, that were in wheelchair, the elder, All right, now surviving Hurricane Katrina. The way this is going to take weeks for them, even after the flood, to regain control of Houston, of the city of Houston. All right, now starting on the third day, people don't know the death toll. I don't care what they tell you on CNN. They do not know the death toll because they're not going house to house. They send the whole National Guard of Texas down to Houston. All right, and the reason for it is because after 48 hours, the city collapse. It doesn't matter if there was a storm or not. It's worse with the storm because you definitely know if there's floods and stuff, there's food that's bad that you ain't going to be able to eat. All right, but after 48 hours in a good city with nothing going on, if something happened, all the shelves will be empty. Now people are going to look for food starting on day 4, day 5. Difference between this and a catastrophic economy collapse is that there's floodwaters, and waters play a very important part. So say you live on the first floor and you're 20, 30 years old. You're a young man, you're a young woman, and you're stuck in these floodwaters. Right now is the time to get out. Screw listening to your city officials. Screw listening to the government. Get the hell out and find high rise. Go door to door, find a vacant house. Go get out the water. Walking through this water, you're about to drop. Okay, this is where it turns deadly. Yes, it may be just water, but you ain't supposed to be sitting in water for 2 to 3 days. All right, it's going to start absorbing your body cores are going to go down. You're running out of food by day 3. You grab what you got, you're on the road, you're running out of food on day 3. There ain't no sewer. I don't care if they say some places got sewer, the city ain't got sewer, it's underneath. On day 5, day 6, all right, it's already, I know there's sewer lines, ground, all that waste. 6.5 million people living in this city. All that waste, the 4th largest city, is going to start sinking into the water that you're standing in. All right? And when everything's starting on Wednesday, Thursday, the humidity goes back up. That's why Houston and the southeast of Texas don't really get rain that much, is because of the humidity and the dry weather. That water is going to dry up fast and it's going to stink. Diseases are going to break out. All that. That's when they're going to start realizing how bad the devastation is. But not till Friday or Saturday because of crust. They're going to be able to smell it. You're going to be able to see it. All right, folks. Now, it's not going to affect the whole country, this storm, but the gas prices will affect it. They had to close down 10 refineries. That's where they take the crude from these out in the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, bring it back and refine it back to gas. Likewise around the country. Let's move on. Their National Guard to Houston, and for the reason that Texas deployed all its National Guards because you got 6.5 million people. Like I said, starting tomorrow, starting on Wednesday, we're going to see people looting. People ain't got food that been starving. People are going to act different. You can't just call 911 because 911 is all out there looking for a survivor. They ain't even caring if you're looting right now. And that's the truth. All right, they're so back up, they can't even handle their own system, so they got the National Guard. Once the National Guard comes in, it's already, as soon as they hit the ground, all in full force, like they are, you already know there's martial law. The reason they do martial law is so everyone could calm down so they could take control of the system. All right, but they have to do it. You know, they're going to come door to door, make sure there's anyone dead, or this is when they're going to start realizing what's going on. And another question is, why didn't Houston evacuate the people? Because they learned from Hurricane Katrina. When you have a mandatory evacuation in 6 hours, people are going to be stranded on the roads, and you got 6.5 million people. But if this ever happens again, or if you're watching, I know a lot of people are not watching down in Houston because they ain't got no electricity, nothing by now. With the floods, water rising, the dams opening up, you got a nuclear reactor that I'm about to show you that the news ain't talking about in Bay City. You got people working there nonstop for 24 hours. They're about to run out of food. We're about to show you that. The news ain't talking about. We got a nuclear reactor in Bay City that people are working. They're afraid the floodwaters might come in there. All right, folks. So we're staying on top of this beyond the news. from experience too. Now, say you're trapped and you are in Houston. By chance, you do got electricity, you got backup generator, you got one of those backup power battery things, and you're watching me. You do have Wi-Fi some amazing way from the cell towers being down and all that stuff. If you're in high ground and you're surrounded by floodwater, go find the nearest bathroom. I know it sounds crazy. Do not drink any water coming out your sewer, because now it's been contaminated from the floodwater soaking into the ground. And these are 50, 60-year-old pipes rusting away. They're in the floodwater too. But in the back where you flush the handle, you could take that up. That's all fresh water. You could boil it. You could drink it. All you need is 8 ounces of water a day. Try to find any perished good, any canned goods before it rusts, if you got to go back down into the water. All right. So now let's look at the map. And what's kind of surprising, like we were talking about, is the eclipse. And it happened on August the 21st. And we're going to do a whole video on this. But we have another tropical storm. It's called Tropical Storm 10. It's right off of South Carolina. We're going to do more reports. And it's actually where the eclipse, so stay tuned to that. And when you go down here in the Atlantic Ocean, over by Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, actually we got a chance later on this week for a couple more tropical storms, and we're going to stay up to date. I'm going to look at the radar. Harp right now is pounding away, and we're going to show you that too in the weather in a second, and that's around Louisiana. I mean, Harp is pounding on southeastern Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, and Harp is pounding away right outside of North Carolina, South Carolina. All right, folks, and we had that biblical event with the eclipse, so stay tuned. If you live down in Louisiana, please be ready. Go pack up your stuff. I will not stay there, even if they're not telling you to I'll evacuate right now. All right, you can use tires, all that, to make boats. You can use car seats to float. Put it on top of that. From experience. Get out the city while you have a chance. Because after tomorrow, people are going to loot. People ain't going to care. People are going to start carrying guns. It's 4 or 5 days. This is the No Face Movement. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook. This is the movement. Till next time, facing off.